Good night, guys. So today is a different day. We're starting our Sunday prep on Monday, and instead of starting at 7 p.m. EST, we are doing it at 9 p.m. EST. So thank you guys for joining, and let's get to it. So as usually, I'm going to start by the futures, and if you guys have any tickers, please post in the Zoom chat, and I'll check it out right after. So we have ES. So when it was Friday, Sunday was right here. So Friday was here. We couldn't break once more this zone that we have, and we had a very steep drop that day. Try to bounce on this zone here, and what happened is that we did bounce, but overnight on Sunday when we opened, this happened. We had this big gap down. So we opened around here at 2900. We try to push, we test this pivot at 228.94. The weekly pivot was also tested, which is around 28.93.48. And we push back up. When we push back up, we broke above this pivot zone, but we couldn't break above this one here, which has been the middle ground, as you guys can see here. Hold and came back down, came retest, came above, hold, retest, retest here, push down, and couldn't break, broke, came back down, retest, couldn't push, and we couldn't push this time here. So it has been a very defined pivot on all these waves, and we couldn't break that from this gap down. Now, what we talk about was that it was ideally we needed to hold above the monthly main pivot, which is the freshly, we have a fresh set of pivots for this month that just started. So we wanted this to hold above, and as soon as we went below it, we had this flash sell here on ES, and we went back up, bounced from here. Now you can see that better on the intraday. So when we talk about that pivot, I posted in the chat a picture, was we came here, test this weekly pivot, this weekly zone, which is 28.93.50, 28.94.94, and we test this. We went up above this, the monthly pivot, retested and went push. So we talk about it was better if we stayed above, right? So look where we rejected. We rejected a weekly pivot from the other time frame, and we had the daily main pivot right there. So it was a strong, this, remember guys, this what we always analyze is that when we are gapping below the weekly and the daily, we like to get a short when we have a retest there, and that's exactly what happened. We went there and then we couldn't break, and then it would be a nice short. Now look what happened when we lost the monthly pivot. We have a very, very quick selling trigger by the August right here, and it was bought right back up. But look at how big was this. Once it broke, we had a what, 15-point sell from here to here, and it is a 50-minute candle, so you can see how fast it was. So now we are trying to hold that pivot again, and that level is 29.04.58, and today's main pivot is right there at 20. Let me change this. If I change this period, it's gonna be easier for me to get that number for you guys. Let's put 100, no, 50 should be enough. Okay, not enough. Okay, let's do 30. It's right there. It's 2904.75. So it's a very, look at it. So it's a very tight zone here. Is a very strong support zone if we can stay there. So this is definitely going to be our line in the sand on S&P 500. If we break this, we can see another quick sell on this. So keep an eye on that. We are channeling between these two pivots. We're still doing higher lows, if you can see here. Still doing these higher lows. So hopefully this is not a bear flag. And then we go retest this again. Right here. Let me mark that. That's going to be a strong, important zone right here. So the difference between yesterday and today is that we also have that day main pivot there, which adds another layer of importance to that zone. So yes, so that's what we have to watch for. The upside, it has to be a break above this zone here. If we can break this, then we're going nowhere. And the break below this is gonna trigger another test to here, which is gonna be our last line of defense. And once we break this, the test is gonna be 2880, 2883.92. Now you see how we're having some action right off of the pivot. See that? So we need to break above this 2909, which we have been channeling between both of them. And once we break that, we can, let me do one thing. Let me mark the previous, this here that generated this bottom of this zone. I'm actually gonna mark that on the higher time frame, just because it's easier. If my hand can't allow me, give me 1 second. There you go. So that's our zone. Oops. That we are watching right there. So you guys can see there's a lot of resistance, a lot of overhead. Regarding this level here, I was talking to Short Hammer, and we both agree that if we don't have a catalyst coming in near that zone, it's going to be a hard zone to break. It's still doing those higher lows here, which is nice to see. Right there. So we need to, first step, which is happening right now, we're trying to bounce from this pivot. We need to go above. We're probably not gonna break. We're gonna put something like this, and then we're gonna test this again if we are gonna go up tomorrow, right? The idea is to keep above this pivot here. We really don't want it to go below it. So once we get here, this is going to be the rough area. If you guys can see, there's a lot of up resistance. After the 50, we have the 58.60. And from there, we have more range. Once we break that, you have over here 29.69. So that's what we have to do right now, is just reclaim each one of these zones and try to go up. If we can't, we're going to have the same scenario but inverse. So something like this. If we can't break, so we came from here, we came here. You see, it's almost like this from the bottom, and now we're testing this. We need to break above that. If we can't break above that, we're most likely going to do something like, let me see, like here, and then we test this, and this is going to define if we are going to go here or we're going to go here and try again, rinse and repeat on this scenario here. So let's see. Hopefully we hold this, and if we can hold this and retest, we may open even flat tomorrow. So we'll see. Let's check natural gas. So natural gas is at that level I mentioned to Meisner on the chat. It really needs to break above this zone here. If we can break and hold above it, then we may have something going on more on a positive note for natural gas. Maybe it's the reversal. Maybe it's that time that we are going to start climbing up. So what it needs to do is very simple. It needs just to push. This time it couldn't hold. See, he couldn't hold. It couldn't hold. It couldn't hold. It couldn't hold. Couldn't hold. He tried, couldn't do it. So what we need to do is a push through again, a hold, and then we try this level first, which is the 2.372. And if we can push that, we're going to go to 2.40, which we want this to consolidate a little bit in here, push through, and then go to 2.456 and at 2.50. We have a long way to go on natural gas, but we had good entries. We start adding around here and sell and add and sell and add. So let's see if this time we can really go. Let's see intraday how we're looking. Look at that candle. That's what I'm talking about, guys. When we hold one of those pivots, something's going to happen. When we get to a major pivot, something's going to happen, either up or down. So that's what I mean when I say don't trade anything in between. Just wait for the key levels, because it's so much easier. It gives you so much better risk reward. Yeah, so check this out. Everybody remember my favorite short setup, right? This is a perfect textbook example of it. So I'm going to draw here this move. You see the push through? Can't hold. Once we retest and can't push through that key zone again, that's when I short. Doesn't mean I'm not going to short here. I'm just saying that I will enter a short over here. See, that's a clear setup that we always talk about. So what's going on here? Definitely need to hold this level. So we have a little zone intraday of support, which is the 2.30 and this 2.307. We need to hold above that, and then we can contest inside the zone. We need to go inside of the zone. Like so far, we're rejecting the bottom of it. So we need to push back up and try to consolidate inside so we can push again and see if we can go more. Let's check oil. Yeah, oil keeps same thing that I said last week. It keeps reverting to this main yearly pivots, which is the 54.23 and 55.02, and it can't go. It's go to this zone, sell to the yearly zone. Go to this zone, sell to the yearly zone. Go down here on this one, go back, buy back up to the yearly zone. Push back up, sell again to the yearly zone. So we have been on this channeling. Some people may even see a head and shoulders here. I'm not a big pattern person. If I follow the textbook uh, meaning of a head and shoulders, this is too high. If I'm not mistaken, the head has to be higher than the shoulders. So this is more looking like a channel down. Let's see. Something like this. Let's see. Yeah. Well, as I said, I'm not a big pattern person. I play more my zones and the pivot zones, which makes more sense to me. But everybody plays different. I just like to recognize them so I know where every player is in the market. So we have our fresh main monthly pivot right here, which is, let me change this real quick. 70 bars should be enough. Yeah, 54.56 is the freshly monthly pivot. And we kind of confirmed. We went back down, came here and confirmed on this week. So what needs to happen? Right now it's on what I call no man's land. It needs to break 5502. It's basically the same thing as I said last week. It needs to break 5502 for a push, and it needs to break below 5423 for a flush, right? Since we have been on a range, it can play both sides from all this time. Sell, 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 buy, buy, buy. So what we'll do here, I would nothing. The only play I'll do if it's break and hold over here, and I'll go long. And the other play I'll do will not short here. I'll see if I can find a short here. For example, that same setup we like, the push through, can't hold, retest, and then we go down. And on this scenario, you have to keep it tight. And that's why we take it on key levels, because the risk is going to be very minimal compared to the reward. And if you find that short setup and you take it, you need to take partials, because we can do a higher low and then just push it. So keep it tight and make sure of what you're getting in. And now let's check intraday, see where we are. Yeah, so basically, really is, this is the weekly main pivot at 55. So this is going to be a double cluster zone here, very strong. So really needs to push above it. Looking at it right now, it's hard for me to say, but it's looking more like a short. But there are factors. I'm not sure if the hurricane is going to affect the inventories. I don't know how it's going to affect oil. So you have always to keep that in mind, the news effect. But if it was just a technical play, I will be more lean towards a short setup, looking for a short setup at these areas. Let me check gold, and then we are done with the futures. So gold is trading below this 1535.60, which is a key zone, key level. And we're going to form a zone with this main weekly pivot right here. We push, this is the same setup that I was just talking about. Push through, can't hold any short. Let's check intraday just so we can confirm. So this is gonna be the key resistance zone right here. 1535.60, 1539.90. If we can break this up, this is a very tight zone. So look at this. This is a very, very, very tight range. This is gonna be the main support, and this is gonna be the key support zone, and this is the key resistance zone. So my advice is try to get on the streams of each one of them. If you want to long, try to get on it in the zone, or right on top or right on the bottom, have the stop below, or a break and hold of this. Break and hold, you go long, or you can go long as close as possible of the bottom zone if you're a long bias on it. If you were short bias, my suggestion is do not short where it is right now. Try to see if we can push to this zone so you can have a stop right above it, and or a break and hold under this zone. So it's a very tight range on gold right now. It's 1532.20 to 1535.60, which is 3 points. That's absolutely nothing. All right, let's let me leave the ES. No, leave it over here. I'll leave the ES here so I can use a cheat code for my pivot colors. And we're gonna start. Somebody asked me for some stocks. Let me take notes. Put on the list. Shop is already on the list. I'll add Costco, and I'll add HD. Yep, I have INSG on my list, and we're gonna check it out. Let's start with Microsoft. Oh, not on this one. Over here. There you go. I have my 4 hours on the left, and I have my intraday on the right. I'm gonna change this to 15 minutes so it loads quicker, because we're just looking for areas right now, not entries. There you go. All right, so what's up with Microsoft? This was an excellent buy zone right here. So if the market gaps down, 16.50 right now. If we gap down, look at 1 second. Look where it is right now. It's trying to test the bottom of that zone. So if the market gaps down, this is gonna gap down for sure. It really needs to hold. This is gonna be the very important support right here. Key support for Microsoft, which is gonna be 136.53, 136.86. The CREE resistance is right here. Which is 137.74, 137.86, which is right around here. Now, this is the key support, and this is going to be the last line of defense on Microsoft right here, which is the 135.61 and 136.15. So what it can happen is that we gap down to either here or here, and we look for a long setup. It's going to be imperative tomorrow that you trade as much as possible with the SPY chart as well. So you have to watch both at the same time. Try to correlate your stock with what's happening with the S&P. For example, if Microsoft is over here and the S&P is selling off, I'll most likely try to wait a little bit for my dip buy on this zone here. If the S&P is selling off and has a lot of volume to the downside, most likely Microsoft is going to follow what's happening with the SPY. So keep that in mind when you're trading those big stocks tomorrow. But those are the key support zones and key resistance. Right now, everything is going to be looking bearish because we'll be gapping down below key resistance. But you have to be careful with your bias. If you see holding, the SPY is holding, SPY is pushing, and everything is on a key support zone, it can be a sign that we're going to have a bounce in the market. Now, if you see weakness inside those zones, most likely we're going to see sell off. For example, let's say Microsoft. 1 second. Let's say Microsoft is trading down here, and then we see a bounce, but we can't break above this and break under again. Then most likely we're gonna see something like this. So try not to be so biased tomorrow because it's gonna be a tricky day. We had 2 trading days on the futures without having the market open, and we have a kind of a disconnect of what's happening with the stock. So we wait and see. Pre-market is going to give you some clue of where things are going to open, and just follow the zones, just follow the levels, and everything's going to be all good. Okay. So once you break above this, if we can't break above this, the 138.51 is going to be the level to watch for break and hold. Every time we break it above, we can't hold above it. We hold for a little while, but then we can't maintain that level. So keep an eye on that. If you are long and it gets to here, there is no reason not to take a partial. If you get long here, remember just take partials on these key zones. ELTK. Let's see. So all of this was because they announced the earnings. That's interesting. Okay, so this is getting to a very strong pivot area. If you are long on this, make sure you secure some if we reach this area here, which is 731, 754. That's going to be a rough area for it to break. After that area, this 843, 869 is going to be the second strongest one. So what are you looking for on Monday? You're looking for key support. If you're long, you really want this to be trading above right here. 6.10, 619, 637 zone. If you are looking for a longer term swing in this stock, which I don't know the company, so I can't say anything about long-term holds on this. This will be here the last line of defense which is 534, 573. So all this area here is going to be your last line of defense. If you're looking for deep buys intraday, I will look for this area and this one here. Below that, I'll be very careful. Maybe, let me check, maybe around at this 475 level, 463 5 to 5 level could be a good level to look at it. Yeah, this zone, everything here is a good zone to buy. Let me see a higher time frame. Yeah, you see here, here. Okay, let me mark this for you guys. Right here, here, here. All of this here, if we get back there, it may cause, together with this very strong pivot, to have a little push up of at least maybe 50 cents, 50, 60, 70 cents, depends on how much a squeeze we can get from here. So looking at the higher time frame, that would be a nice area if we can drop there to look for a reversal right here. So if we break this, just try to be patient. If we break this, either you wait for a reclaim or you wait for a dip around this area right here. Right here. Preferably the bottom of it, but still, this is still strong right here. For key resistance, if you decide to go long or you're looking to short, keep an eye on the 731 to 754. This will be your first key resistance. You have a speed bump at 810, and then your next key resistance is going to be 843 to 869. So if you're long, make sure to take some partials on each of these zones right here. Yeah, it has been very strong. It would be nice to see a pullback from here, but we'll see. The short squeeze is real on this. So if you want to short, just be patient. Wait for those key zones to hit or key zones to break. If we can't get there, do like a higher low or something below it. It also could also be a good setup. Let's check BRZU. So BRZU bounced on that zone that we were waiting for it. The other zone we wanted was way down there, if I'm not mistaken, is right here. It was this zone that we were waiting if we couldn't hold. Well, we did hold and we pushed. We are above about $3.80 from the bounce area. So right now is approaching this other key resistance zone right here. Oops, that was my phone. So 25.53, 26.33. If we can break and hold, it's going to find a very strong resistance at 27.63. And let me borrow this, please. There we go. We are entering that zone, guys. Let's see if we can go. So we're going to have to watch for this Oops, not this one. Right here. So this is gonna form another zone of resistance. And so first we need to push through this one here. You guys can see we have a lot of interaction on this level, on this zone before. Let me extend so you guys can see. Right there, see, up and down, up and down, up and down. So we need to break above that in order to get to this 2763, 2813. If we can't break above that, we're most likely gonna retest this level here, which is 2425. So right now we're doing that impulsive move. If we can break this, we're most likely gonna bounce, pull back to here, and then we go from there, see what happens. Can we hold? If we hold, we can do a higher low and try to do that final push to this zone and 2922, which is going to be also rough. Tomorrow's main zone is going to be 2532, 2545. So is below that zone, is below where it's trading right now. So it would be nice if this holds as support right here. If we can't go any longer, it would be perfect if we can go any longer than this. So everything is looking good for another push up as long as we hold above this area here that we just mentioned. FSLY. So Dave has been swinging this since the teens, guys. It is ridiculous. He just got a 100%er on part of his shares. And what's gonna happen now? Let me go back here and borrow a blue line. There you go. No. So let's mark this level right here, this pivot. For more upside, we're gonna need to break above that 3182. The key support is gonna be this one here, which is 3060. So tomorrow we really need to hold above this 3060. We also have the main day zone right there. You have three main pivots right there. It needs to hold. This is going to be the daily line in the sand. We're going to have a last line of defense at 2978, 2938. So 2938, 2978 is going to be our last line of defense, where the top of the zone is the strongest part, is our SS is on the top. So key resistance right here, which is going to be, where is it? Okay. Oh, okay, I found it. 3160, 3182. Key resistance right here. So right now is undecided. Is probably gonna go down here and test this pivot, and then we see if we can hold and we push back up. So that's what we had to wait on Monday for this. Just let it do its thing. Don't need to worry about being the first. It's gonna move very quickly up or down. So just wait for your setup. You have the key levels to watch and go from there. LCI. Which was also a runner all week. So I wouldn't be surprised if this gaps up. We have this level here from before where it rejected after hours. So if we break that, we're gonna retest this 110, 1110, 1123, which is gonna be the strongest. That's the strongest pivot we have on the board. So that's gonna be very, very difficult to break. Let me get. I need a main yearly pivot, please. Do I have one? Nope. Let me get that from shop. I know I have it there. Shop. I guess not. Okay. Which one? AMRN. I think I have it on AMRN. Guess not. Give me a second, guys. Just wanna say AMRN. Yeah, I knew I have it that. All right. So let's go back. Let's mark that pivot. That's 1123. 1123. There we go. So this is gonna be the most tough zone to break on LCI. If you're patiently waiting for a short setup, if we get there, just keep your eyes very peeled. But it needs to break this 1044. So ideally, we have a pullback for longs. What it needs to happen? Ideally, a pullback from here, a retest of this 980, and needs to hold. So pullback, test here, and then we grind up. The other scenario is a little gap up and then pull back to here and then hold this zone as support and then push. And if you're long, you want to make sure you take those partials if we get to that very important zone right there. 1110, 1123. So right now, the first zone of resistance is going to be this. Where is it? 1030, 1044. And the support that we want to hold, I'll even mark over here, is going to be this 980 right here, 964. So 980, 964, or should I say 964, 980. So that's the key support, and that's the key first key resistance, and then the ultimate key resistance right there. That's going to be a rough one. Just keep your eyes on it if you have a long position. If we sell from here, where would it be good to dip buy? I will keep an eye on this zone here, which is 858, 887. And if that doesn't hold, let's check the higher time frame. Yeah, if that doesn't hold, let me go back to ES so I can borrow some pivots. I want this pivot right here. If that doesn't hold, keep an eye on this here. Right here. The 771 to 808. And the 687, 734. Those are the areas I'll be looking for. I will not get anything in between if I were you. Let me mark here just so you guys have reference. Yeah, I didn't like that color, but I use this one here. Yeah, I'm not gonna restart you. We are in the middle of a stream. Right there. So watch for those areas. Those are the most important areas to watch on the stock. Now, what happens if we break 1123? Well, if we break and hold, then we're gonna test 1150, 1185, and then this 1280s. Okay. Tiffany, you wanna type something? Business, system. Oh, good. Okay. So let's keep going. Yes, I'll check shop cost and HD. Going through the list, I added those for you, no problem. AMD. So AMD, the only level I'll be looking for if I want to go long, this is the main zone right here. $31.93, $32.05. And even have this one here, $31.88. So we can expand this a little bit to include this. Let me see. So let's mark this one. Mark this one here real quick. So we're looking for this cluster 3187, 3193, 3205. Once we break and hold this, most likely we're going to retest this 3302, a small speed bump at right here, 3245, so 3250, 3245. And key support really needs to hold this weekly pivot right here. We can even give it a little bit more. Let me borrow this again. Right here. So key support 3085, 3097. Key resistance 3187, 3193, 3205 zone. And this is gonna be the main day zone for tomorrow, which is 3134, 3147, 3155. This is where we decide if you're gonna go bullish on the day, bearish on the day. So if we gap down and we hit this area, be careful with your longs. We may just reject and go back down. If we can break and hold, then we're going to retest this very strong zone. Once we break 3205, then we have a very nice range to the upside. Below this key support, we're going to have 3017, 3011. Let's check SONO. Yeah, very nice. We had this 1650. Okay, so we broke the big orange, which is our strongest pivot on the board. Now this was the key resistance zone. And we finally, but we are above it. But the time the clock ran out and we don't know if we're gonna hold above it. So it's a very important area right here. So what would be the play tomorrow? If we hold above it, then we go long, we may get this 1546. We have some stuff going on over here, 1472, 1511, and 1546. So keep an eye on this zone to make your decision, either up or down. Our main day zone is going to be 1417, 1421, which is right below here, is right here. So that's going to add another layer of important support for us. I'm going to mark that pivot so we don't forget about him. 1422, right there. So this is going to be, since we are above it, I'm considering this a key support with the last line of defense at 1394, 1383. If we break that, most likely we're going to go 1325, 1336, and then 1289. If we can break and hold, then our next target is going to be $15, $15.11, $15.46, and 1569. The 1616 to 1650 is going to be a strong support based on previous price action. So keep an eye, if we get there to the 16s, mid 16s, just keep an eye on it for a pullback. If you're long, make sure you take some partials on all those key levels, which is again 1511, 1546, 1570, and the 16. But it can be a good trade tomorrow on this one. ROKU. So ROKU has been a non-stop uptrend. If you guys can see here, oops, not this one. You guys can see it has been a very steep uptrend on ROKU. What needs to happen? Let me get another pivot. Mark this one here. There you go. So that's when we call the profit taken Friday. If you scroll back on the chat, you're gonna say, I said now is a good time to take some profits on ROKU because we were approaching this monthly pivot here. And we didn't even got to there. I'm glad we called a little bit earlier because we couldn't quite get there. And then we have that steep sell. And then we bought back up on the main day zone. So what it needs to happen tomorrow, if ROKU gaps down with the market, it really needs to hold this key zone here for 147.37, 147.93. This is going to be the key support. Once we gap down, if we gap down below this, this is going to be our first key resistance. 150.94, 151.36, and above that 153.29, 153.57 is going to be our next key resistance. So very defined areas, easy to play. ROKU has been following our pivots very well, as you guys can see here on the 4-hour chart. Let me make this a little bit bigger. See how we react so well to our pivots. Pivot zone, come back down, hold support, come back up, retest, come back up, retest, come back, retest, then go reject the yearly where we shorted and use this as support and push through, reject this one, and let's see if we can get another wave on supporting this 147.37, 147.93. If we can't hold that, we can see some sell coming in, a strong sell. We have a small speed bumps intraday, which is at 146, 143.66. The first key level is going to be 142.57. And we're going to mark this one here. So this is going to be our next key support. 141.50, 142.57. So just be careful with your long positions. Don't try to be biased. And let's see what we can get tomorrow. AMRN. Let me leave this on ES so we can keep an eye on it. Oh, it's a -10 already. That's awesome. Let's put this one on the 15 minutes so we can keep an eye on it. Actually, I like to keep the 4-hour. Let me put it over here and let it load. And then we come back. So AMRN has been rejected 16 area. Good thing is that it bounced and made a higher low on the pivot here at 1408. Rejected weekly. So tomorrow, this week, we need to see it trading above this 30-cent zone right here. It looks that it's too much, but it's not. It's only 30 cents. 1559, 1459, 1487 is going to be our key support. It really needs to hold above this. I am not sure if we break this, if we're going to hold this 1408 again. So let's see if we can hold this time one more time, and then we push up. The key resistance is going to be right here at, let me go zoom in a little bit, 1578, 1592. So that's our key resistance. Once we break and hold this, we're gonna hit head at 1638. So if we break and hold this Monday, what we need to do, we need to go here and then bounce at 1622. Then push through. to 1650, bounce on 1638, and then go to our ultimate target, first target, which is 1674. If we can break that, this is going to be the tough zone, 1696, 1719. So you could even consider this entire zone on AMRN, 1674, 1696, 1719. And that's the next target from here if we can break this 1592. Now, downside, if we break this, most likely we're going to retest this 1408, 1417. And if we break that, we're going to most likely retest this 1310, 1336. So that would be a MRN. Our main day zone is going to be 1514, 1518. So remember, below the main day zone, bearish. Above main day zone is bullish. More of a bullish sentiment. Next one, let's check the ES if it loaded. You see how it's inside our zone now? It really needs to hold. It's gonna back test the bottom, most likely. It looks like it's gonna go retest the bottom, and we need to hold that. So let's wait and see what happens. Next one, we have Costco. So Costco, it looks like it may retest tomorrow our main support zone, which is the key support zone, which is 290.13, 291.13. It really needs to hold this and kind of do what Roku did. Remember, we had a push through and then a back test of this, the lower zone. And then once it hold this, it just went to the next one. And for Costco, that would be 308.90, 310.02. Now there's a long way to go there. If the market gaps down, we're gonna have to bounce over here, and then we need to break this 294.76, 295.29 main day zone. We have, let's mark this here. The 296.55 right above it. So kind of off place right there. So really need to hold this, break and hold this for more. Yeah, so we wouldn't like to see bouncing from here and then just can't go. Although Roku did that, Roku did maybe 4 or 5 times. He retest the bottom zone like a consolidation period, and then it went up. So as long as it's above that zone that we mentioned, I will still be bullish in the stock, on the stock, which is again is 290.13, 291.31. If we break below that, most likely we're gonna retest this 285.81. And that will be it. Let's see. INSG. So let me check the chat again. Looking Capital said INSG 5G player announced modem partnership with AT&T Friday. So that's big news. What we need to happen first, let's make sure we know where the resistance is. Let me borrow, I need a purple line. We can get this one here. So let's mark right here. And let me zoom in right here. And I need a yearly pivot. There we go. I had to click less fast. Yes, TOS doesn't like me when I click too fast. 523. Right there. There you go. All right. So let's check on this side here. So this is gonna be our main support. Which is the 421, 429. This is like the last line of defense, really needs to hold there, although 4 is also a strong zone. If we break these out, we just prefer to cut my long and wait to see how it reacts to the 4 zone. If we hold this, we're gonna find resistance at 444. If we get below that, we are trading above it so far. So if we stay above it, what it needs to happen, it needs to break first Friday's high, which is 458. Change this. Which is 458. And then we're gonna hit that key, very strong cluster of pivots that start at 485 and goes all the way to 510. So you can actually section this, maybe put it here, 485 to 492, and then do a 503. I really want to include this 510. You can say 509 is fine, but 510 more is more likely. 511. Let's mark that. Right here. Oops. There you go. So this is our second stronger. There's a lot of overhead from here on these 5s. And then we have this 523, which is the yearly pivot to 535. So all of this is going to be cause some issue for the stock. So if you're long from here and we start getting there, make sure to scale out some. Yes, we can push. We have good news. It may generate a short squeeze. We don't know, but that's something we're not sure it can happen, right? All we know is that once you get there, we're gonna have some sort of reaction, and you don't want to be the last one to realize the reaction is gonna be selling. So make sure you take some partials here, here, and here. And if we break that, then we have more room to go, 564. 578, the 6 and 632. But make sure to take your partials if we get there, remembering we need to hold those key support levels. Let's check PANW. PANW. Mark this. And mark this. There you go. All right, let's check it out. So it tested that zone Friday. 204.23, 205.55. It went to 204.63 and rejected. But it's trying again. You see, it climbed all the way there. Tomorrow, if you're bullish on it, it needs to hold 202.44, 202.94. That will be the first. That will be what I call, if we can hold there, is just going to be a small pullback. Now, if we don't hold there, then we start to enter the find where is the best place to buy the dip. So if that happens, let me get another color. Yes, I am picky with my colors because that's going to determine where, when I'm trading intraday, what I'm looking at. So I don't have to go back and see how strong is that support. I can just know by the colors of my pivots. So if that breaks, look for the 200s. Right here. So 200, 248, if this can't hold. This 201 is kind of nice too. You have this low here, 201, see? And you have this reaction, the rejection to it, and then push up. And you have this pivot as well tomorrow, this intraday pivot, support 1, 201.27. So keep an eye on that as well. Ideally, the best thing is to happen is a hold above this. And if we can't hold above that, then you look for plan B. So key resistance right here. If we break that, most likely we're going to retest the main monthly pivot at 208.58 and then do 10.13. That will be our next key resistance zone right there. So keep an eye on that. If we go there, take a partials. If we break and hold, I'll be looking for these 215s. The 215 to 216.46. If we break below the 200, then 198.80 and then 194.50. Let's check HD. So HD is on right on this very important pivot right there. So that's going to be a very straightforward play. We're going to have a very important zone, 227.80 to 28.03. So that's the battle zone right there. That's where all the things gonna happen, either up or down. That's what's gonna define this little zone right here. If you're bullish, you want to break and hold. If we break and hold, most likely we're going to retest these 229s. And if we can't break and hold, next level will be the 226, then 225, and key zone is going to be down here. Let me get another color pivot. Right here. Yes, I am trying to mark it perfect. I like to be precise. Well, my eyes are too blurry, I can't. So there you go. That's the key support zone, 224.45, 224.84. Let's check OSN. So we call this play in the chat, I think it was a 470, so around here at the fours, and we went all the way to 745. Now we came back down, we bounced off this 306, which would be a very nice entry. As you guys can see, there was a cluster, a very important cluster in this tree level. So if we got there, that would be very nice. Right now, if we can hold above 402, we may see a squeeze to 438, 456. So let's check that out. I'm gonna need another main pivot. What's going on of all these big orange plays? Let me save. Right, 377. There you go. So tomorrow, this is gonna be the key support. Though it's way below there. But let's have it 377, 387. It's not that far from it. Only 20 cents. And if we trading above this 402, that's gonna be the nearest key support right there, 402, 405. If we're trading above it. Yeah, I don't know how we're gonna do it tomorrow. If it gap below it, then that's gonna be the first key resistance, and this is gonna be the key support. We have a last line of defense right here, 370. So if you enter long here, you can set up a stop loss below this 370, maybe 368. Just calculate your sizing based on your stop loss. So if your stop loss is 10 cents and you want to risk, let's say $100 on this trade, then you need to grab how many shares to lose $100 on a 10 cents stop loss? That's what, 1,000 shares? Yep. So if you grab 1,000 shares and it drops 10 cents, you lose $100. So that's how you do it. If you're willing to risk $50, then you need to grab 500 shares. If you're willing to lose $10, how many shares you can grab? 100 shares. So keep that in mind. When you enter a trade, the first thing you need to find out is where is your stop loss and how much you're willing to lose on this trade. And then calculate your position sizing based on that information. If you have already in mind your max potential loss, then that is going to give you more, you can say, tranquility to hold on your trade, because you already know how much you're going to lose. When you enter the trade, you already accepted that loss. So that's how I do it. At least I always calculate my risk based on my stop loss. So that would be it. If we can hold above this, we're going to retest this 438, 456. And if we break above that, they're going to go retest that 5 zone. So that could give us a very nice short squeeze if we can break above Friday's high. Let's check GD. General Dynamics. Let me just check 5 years just so I can see where we are overall. That's gonna be rough for you. It was, yes, it was CL. I need main previous year pivot right here. And set it up right here. That's gonna be rough. That's gonna be a rough area. Just see if I can find. I didn't want to change, but I can't. So let's check yes while we wait for that. You see that? So we test this pivot, couldn't hold the bottom of the zone. You see how fast it was the sell? It came here and push up. Now we need to reclaim that. Let's see if we can't reclaim, we just may come back down. So let's wait and see. We can keep checking. Let's grab a quarterly pivot right here. Purple. And let's mark. I really want to mark this one. Right here. Okay, so that's gonna be our key support. Have a lot of little speed bumps on the way. Got another one here. Okay, give me the message. There you go. I really want this one. This one and this one. Oh, come on. There you go. So we're gonna have our key support right here. 190.14, 190.76. In addition to that, we have our main daily zone at 190.91, 190.116. And our key resistance is going to be 191.74, 192.22. I'm going to add this one here, 192.32. So this is going to be our key resistance, key support. If we lose this one, then our last line of defense is going to be this 188.54, 188.95. So if we lose this and we're looking for a go long, check how he reacts to this area so you can dip buy there. On the break of this, we have a small speed bump intraday at 193.12, 193.38. And then the next key resistance is going to be 194.59, 194.95. And ultimately goal is to reach this super strong resistance, 196.55, 196.82. That's going to be rough. And you have also another pivot up there. So if you wanted, you could even stretch it up a little bit to include that one. But remembering that the strongest pivot of all these three ones is the 196.82. Yeah, if we lose this one, most likely gonna go 186.17. So those are all the key zones to watch. Nothing in between. Don't try to get into things early. So it's all about that patience game. If we can't, let's say we break below this, but we can't get here, watch for a reclaim of that. Don't try to guess. We are not gonna get here. Just try to play what the chart gives you. MSGN. We have just a few more, guys, so bear with me. MSGN. Interesting. Why this gap up like that? Let's see. Oh, stock buyback plan. So they increased the stock buyback. That's why. All right. So we have very defined key resistance. So key resistance for this is going to be 1649, 1658. You could actually make it a key zone instead of key resistance or support zone. You can just make an entire key zone on this and see how it goes from the zone, which is going to be 1629, 1649. If we can't hold this, most likely we're going to test this 1590 and the last line of defense, which is 1557. So let's mark. We have here 1590, 6001, and this zone right here. Do I have the blue one? No, I think I have the purples. So right here, this is gonna be our last line of defense. Come on. Which is the 1557, 5067. And this is the key zone. Above it, we have right here. (1720) to 1747. That's gonna be our next, in case we break and hold here. So that would be the plan for this. Had good news. It's gapping up big time. So just keep your stop loss tight in case we try to close this gap. And then if you are long, watch for this zone here. If you want to short, you can also watch this zone. If you can't hold and break, and if you can't break and hold, you can enter short and have a stop loss right above it. Shop. Okay. Yeah, it's looking, so far it's looking bearish for the week. We may have a more, we may test this zone here down below. So this is gonna be, this is a way big of a zone, but maybe we can do a little zone here. 384.08, 383.85, 385.39. This is gonna be the key main zone, and the strongest resistance of the week is going to be 388.91. Now below that is still bearish for the week. So if you can't break above that, you can say you were secure to short the pops until we break this line here. Below that we have key support, which is where we didn't test yet, which is right here. 362.60 is a very big zone. So maybe we can make it smaller, like section it. You actually like the entire zone. Let me mark this previous level here. So what we can do is have 360.19 to 362.60, and it's still going to be big. You can have this 368.21. I really don't like this setup. I like to have either all of it or most of it. But it's way big. It's almost a 10-point zone. So if you're playing shop, yeah, let's just, it's just too big. It's stupid to hold from bottom to, it's like 9 points hold. That's not clever. So 360.19, 362.60, and 368.21, 369.45. Remembering the 365.43 line is our strongest line. But these are key zones right here. If we have a range day between these, you're going to be great because you're going to get 9 points up, 9 points down. So keep an eye on that if we get there. If we can manage to break the weekly pivot, most likely we're gonna have some resistance. If this happens tomorrow at 396.43, but look more at the 400 area. ULTA. Let me change this to the 4-hour. ULTA has been strong, so 30% down, guys. 30% down Friday. That's way too much. But it ended the day below this 235.90. So this is gonna be the key support. The next key support, 231.36, 232.67, then 226.81, 228.72. And this is gonna be the key resistance, 235.90, 238.46. If we manage to hold above it, we most likely gonna test this 242.18, 244.10, right here. Now, as long as we below this tomorrow, we're still on the short the pops mode. If we can't break this, then we're still bearish on the day. Now, the strongest resistance we're gonna find on this is gonna be way up here to 50 to 53.01. So if we go there, keep your eyes on your long positions if you decide to dip buy. And if you're looking for a short and we get there, keep an eye on your short setup. So all of these are the key zones if you guys want to print screen and have it mark on your charts. Sorry. Let's check Twitter. So Twitter has been consolidating between these two pivots. You see here, go up there, come back down, come here, back down, come there, back down. And it's doing these higher lows. You can either, I'm not trend line person, but this kind of looks solid. Do you have anything from here? No. So trying, is this a candle or something? Yeah, so let's keep from here to here. It's doing this uptrend and is having this, it's almost like a flag on the 4-hour. And it has been, people have been accumulating on this 39, 38, 40 zone. So let's keep an eye on it for a breakout setup. What we are looking for, I don't trade breakouts personally. So what I'm always looking for is dips to for opportunities to buy. So where am I going to look at to buy this? Let me mark this here. I'll be looking for a dip. If I can have it, I would love to have this 41.92, 42.12 zone. If I can have that, watch for this to 42.28, 42.42 area. Those are the two zones I'm interested in the buying. So watch for setups on these zones. If we break that, I'm most likely gonna wait and see if we can get to 41.50, 41.71 and see how it reacts there, most preferably at 41.50. And on the upside, our key resistance is gonna be 42.65, 42.70, right here. Actually, I want to add, I really want to add that pivot. Let me borrow this. Gonna give me a message again. There you go. And I want to mark this one here. It has a lot of interactions last week. Oh, wrong tool. Right here. So we'll be looking for this as the key zone, the key resistance zone. And if we can break above that, our next one is going to be our yearly pivot, 4367. Let's grab that. There you go. I know you love me, TOS. 4367 right here. Probably not going to be able to mark exactly, which bothers me. But you guys know I like to be precise. But 4367 is saying 68 is close enough. So this is going to be the key resistance, 4368, the strongest one from bottom down. Once we close there, above that, we're most likely going to test this one here. And if we break that, we're going to test this 4422, 4439. So that will be the plan for Twitter. Let me check real quick. Let me go 5 years. There we go. I found another pivot I want. I really want this yearly pivot. So let me mark that. Right here. Last year's pivot, 4411. So that would be right there. So let's stretch this a little bit down here. 4411, 4422, 4439. So I only have another 6 or 7. Tesla. Look where Tesla rejected, guys. Right at the quarterly pivot. And that's also the 50-day moving average right there. So, man, that was a strong sell. Where's my 4-hour? Look at that. That was a perfect short, guys. That's the dream of the shorter on the pivot points. Look at that. How perfect is that? Push through, can't hold, retest, short. That's our everyday look for setup. Look at this strong push right here, right? So look at that overextension. Push through, pull back, retest, and then what happened? All the way down. You could even get it on this retest right here. See, there was a weak retesting on pre-market though. So if you want to trade options, you have to wait for this. If you miss all of this, you could even have a retest of this retest here, pivot right here. So what are we looking for? Let's just mark our key zones. Key support is going to be 222.66 to 23.59. Right here. We have even another one in the middle. So 222.66, 223.20, 223.59 zone is a triple main weekly pivot zones. That's a strong zone. Hopefully we open above it, and then we can use it as a potential deep buy setup from this zone here. Key resistance is going to be this one. to 2642 to 2704 to 2742 to 277. It's just another cluster. So you have a cluster of support and a cluster of resistance. So if you want to short, wait for a short setup from here, or a gap down or break under this confirmation that is going to hold below it, like a retest of some sort, and or a candlestick pattern that you like. You watch level 2, you like to trade level 2, watch for that. Just find something that justify your short on this zone here if you want to short below, right? Ideally, I like to short zones above it, but if I miss that, I wait for the breakdown and wait for the retests, right? The lower highs from that zone. And if you want to go long, try to get it long here. If that breaks, most likely you're going to retest this 219, 216, 80 to 19, 25. So that would be it. If we break above 230, 36, 232, 21 is the next right here. So have those in your chart and play them according to your setups. LULU. So we have a very strong support zone. 182.98, 183.65, 184.12. This cluster here is going to serve as support until we break below it. If we're trading below this, it's going to be a very strong resistance. Oh, not that color. Oh, there's one here. So let's section this a little bit. Although it's all one zone, I want to keep it separate. Just because I don't like big zones, because if I enter on the top, I don't want to have a big stop loss. All you have to do is get less shares to justify your stop loss, but I prefer to have small zones that I can work with. The main day zone is going to be 185. So above 185, we're most likely going to hit this 186.58 right here. And the next one will be 187.50. Did we hit this one before? Last month? Yeah. And the next one is going to be right here, 188.21, 188.76. So if you're looking for LULU, that LULU does a run into earnings, it really needs to hold above this. Preferably, I would want it to hold above the 136, 183.65, 184.12 for a run into earnings. I really wouldn't like to retest here, but if it doesn't hold, then it's still a valid setup. Let's check CREE, CREE. So I only have 4 more, guys, I think, hopefully. So CREE, it looks like most likely it's going to test this 41.78 big orange pivot. I'm gonna mark this one. And let me borrow one of this. Just trying to be slow so TOS doesn't complain with me. Oh, he's about to complain. There you go. I want to mark This one here, I know it's very close, but I just want to be aware there is a cluster right there. So key support for this. It's gonna be, okay, I need to mark the yearly pivot as well, which was AMRN, right? So let's mark 4178. There you go. So that's gonna be the key support on CREE. 4132, 4140, 4178. I think it looks like we're gonna go there. The key resistance is gonna be right here, 4353, 4373. Let me borrow one more pivot, please. This one. I want to mark this one here. Hopefully I'm marking right. Yeah. So after we break that, this is going to be the key resistance, which is 4437, 4474. So we are on short the pop mode until we break above here. If we have extended or retest from over here, I'm most likely going to look for a short setup. And if we get there, most likely, yeah, I will be looking. Now, if we break and hold this, I will expect a squeeze, bigger squeeze, because from here to here is already a nice squeeze. But if you're looking for to catch the falling knife, and I'll watch very carefully for this area here. And if you want to short, just short into this area. And if it gets there, just make sure to take some profits. Let's check ETC. So ETC is on a short setup. Maybe we're going to retest this 5107, but it's short until we flip the switch, which is going to happen if we break and hold. So this is the first key resistance, 5329, 5348. If you break and hold this, most likely we're going to go to 5460, 5494. So if you want to take a long, keep it tight. We do have some resistance on this previous weekly. Sorry, previous weekly of 5389. So that's can be also a speed bump. Is this ES? So let's mark that so we are aware. Oops, wrong tool. Yeah, it's kind of late, guys. Kind of late. Okay. So those are the level we'll be looking for on Etsy. And support is right here. 5107, Let me activate. I'm gonna stretch 5165. If we break that, then most likely we're gonna retest this 48. And of course the 50 whole number is gonna be a psychological number. But below that we have 4809, 4851. Let's check. SIG. Okay, I see the light in the end of the tunnel. We only have 4 more, guys. We have SIG, CRWD, BYND, and AMBA. So SIG has earnings on the 5th. Is that what? Wednesday? Thursday. Thursday, before market opens. Okay, so for us to see a run into earnings, it really needs to hold above 12. Can even give it a little benefit of the doubt and put 81, 1184, 1199, and it needs to break above. Actually, I really like if you can hold this, we can just start grinding up. Keep in mind our main day zone level is going to be 1238. And then we have some key resistance over here, 1317, 1340. If we can't hold this, most likely we test 1090, 1105. This is a strong area as well. 1150. So keep an eye on 1150, but more likely this test these lows again. Okay. Below above that we have 1379, 1411. So all this is gonna be a nice zone. What is the expected move? $2.23. So if we beat, we can expect to retest. Let's see. On an earnings beat, we can expect to retest. It depends on where it's trading, but the 15. But I'm looking more for overshoot at 1636, 1681. And if we miss, it can get ugly and go all the way to $899. So that's SIG, CRWD, low float, has earnings this week. Also on Thursday, but after market closes. Right now it's testing a very important support level. Do I have the white one? Don't remember. Yeah. So this is the key support. Let me grab one of the blue ones. And let's mark right here. Okay, so key support 79.46, 80.05, and key resistance. You can say, you can keep the daily zone right there. So 81.76, 82.28. Remembering that the main weekly is at 83.67. It needs to break and hold for a bullish week and run into earnings. And if we break and hold that, most likely you're going to retest this 87 area. If we can't hold this, most likely retesting 76. So watch for sell into earnings if below here, and run into earnings you can start buying here, partial here, and see if we can break and run from there. What is the expected move? $10.50. Good Lord. So it's expected move $10.50. Okay, that's a lot. So definitely keep an eye on this. It's gonna move fast. It's a low float. It's on a very, very important support level. We tested Friday, it hold twice. See that one? Twice. This is a very important area. If you can see here, it had this stop, and I have this retest here, and now we're back there retesting, press twice and push. So that would be for CRWD. BYND. Two more, guys. Hang in there. All right. Key support BYND 162.63. I want to include this 164.28. So it's a triple pivot zone. 162.63, 163.41, 164.28. That's going to be the key support for BYND. The key resistance is going to be very small. It's going to be right here, 168.66, 168.93. Above that, we have this 176.71, 177.21. If we can break yesterday's Friday's high, which is 172.29, most likely we're going to squeeze all the way there. If we can't hold this, I'll be expecting a retest of this 152.70, 154, 155.81 right here. And last one is going to be AMBA, which we took a short Friday because we had our yearly pivot right there. I think I posted this in the room. I had to check. I'm not sure. But look at that. Make it bigger. Just look how beautiful was that. Push through, can't hold, retest right here, fail, then you go short. So what we're expecting for Monday, we're gonna be have this as a key support right here. Let me mark. Do I have it? Yeah, right here. Oops. $55, $56, $55.84 is gonna be the key zone on AMBA. Key resistance is gonna remain being in the yearly pivot. You can include Friday's high if you want. It's only counting the high of market open. We can do 57.47. I want to do all of it. 56.90 to 57.64. Remembering 57.47 is the strongest level. If we can break above that, we're going to retest 58.46, a small speed bump intraday. And ultimately, the goal is to hit right here. Hit the zone here, which is 59.75, 60.24 on the break and hold of this one here. If we can't hold that, most likely going to retest. I need, is it here 50, 278? Yeah. Most likely gonna retest this here, which is 51.94, 52.76, and is our last line of defense. If we break that, maybe we're gonna retest here on the top, 50.82. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I see you all tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. EST for pre-market trading and analysis. Please enjoy the rest of your weekend. I mean, it's Monday, but still the weekend. And I see you tomorrow. Take care.